All right, is this thing on?
Can everybody hear us? Um, I don't see anybody saying anything. I have no idea.
Okay. Um,
Has anyone said they can hear us? Okay, I
well,
think it's
Storm's in the stream, so I assume that.
Storm says he hears a keyboard.
Yeah, I was that. I think it's
Okay, he says he can hear us.
Yeah, I think there's like a 10-second delay for them, so we'll probably be ahead. So,
Okay, well that's good, I guess.
all right, so let's get started since I'm already 15 minutes behind schedule, and I know that practice is coming up pretty soon. So I just wrote out some questions on my notes on my phone. So, all right, let me pull that up. So, first, I'm going to talk about, you. I wouldn't say called it quits this season, but you stepped back from racing to kind of take a more um, ownership approach to the league, and you're now focusing more on just managing the league more than actually driving. So, what was it like for you to go from a full-time driver and a full-time owner to just now a full-time owner? And do you look at the league any differently from now from an ownership standpoint than you did like when you drove?
Well, it's different not driving. Um, I mean, having to officiate all the time, it's a little bit weird, but I would say not having to focus on driving every week and practice and things like that does give me a lot more time to actually put a lot more time into the league and manage the things that need to be done, like managing my team, the people that need to be worked on, like managing the Discord server, the tracks, officiating the races, or whatever else needs to be done.
And I'm sure you miss racing, by now because you stepped back a couple of weeks ago. So I'm sure you miss it by now.
Yeah, it's been different, but like I said, I do enjoy officiating and stuff, and seeing everybody else having a good time. It's not like I can't play the public game or not go practice in my free time or play and race in other leagues or anything else. So
Right. And I think Storm asked you to turn your mic up, so or if it was possible for you to do that.
oh yeah,
Mm.
um, wait
So
maybe
yeah. I don't know if I sound okay.
okay. I think it's all the way up already.
Yeah, you were fine for me. I don't know about the others. Um so yeah. All right. Good. All right. So moving on to the next question, coming into the season, Team Penske kind of was looked at as the dream team. We put together all the good drivers from last season and from your preseason before that. Um, so how do you look at your drivers on the team this year? And how would you assess how the team is doing so far?
Well, I gotta be honest. I didn't expect CD to get a win this early. Like, I'm really happy that he has gotten 2 wins, but I expected him to get a win later on in the season. But to already have 2 wins in 3 races has been really impressive. And obviously, with Land leading the point standings, you're still in the playoff picture. Craigus is up there. So overall, as a team, I think that we're doing really well and as expected.
And how would you look at the drivers this season in the Cup Series? Because obviously we have some new faces that have come up from the lower series. So how would you assess how everybody's doing so far? I mean, we're only 3 races in, but a lot has happened in those 3 races. So how would you assess just how the field is doing so far?
I think it's been a learning experience for everybody. I remember last year we were able, or last season we were able to do pace laps and stuff. We haven't really gotten to that point yet, but maybe once people get more comfortable, we'll be able to get back to that point. I've seen some maybe unnecessary wrecks, things like that, but I'm hoping as the season goes on and people get more experience that we'll see less of those things.
Yeah, and the racing's been phenomenal. I mean, everybody's been putting on a great show, but there has been some some things going on, especially after Tuesday night. So let's talk about that for a minute. And I kind of think that it's uncomfortable um, to talk about that, especially since there's probably some people from that team watching. But what is your response to the situation that took place during the race the other night? Because obviously, with you officiating now, you have to make all the calls. Um, so what was your response to it, and like, what was going through your head as all that was happening, and what went down after the race in general? How do you look at things coming into tonight's race?
We're talking about the JGR situation, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Uh, I really didn't see much going on in general, but I got a lot of DMs from people telling me that they were instructed to wreck certain people. Uh, I mean, if I can get solid proof of this, I will take action against people because, like, we're not going to tolerate that. Like, if people are telling other people to intentionally wreck somebody, that's not going to be tolerated in this league. But, uh, yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, we'll have to see what happens tonight, obviously. Hopefully it doesn't get to that extent again tonight, but let's talk about Land. Land just signed an extension last night, I believe, or yesterday. Um, so he is now going to remain at Penske through, I believe, the end of next season, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right.
And his team will move to the 22 car next season. So, what is the status on the other drivers re-signing for next season? And obviously, I know that I'm on the team, but right now I'm just a media personnel person. So, what is the status on re-signing them? And is there any hints or any kind of feedback, I guess you could give on who will fill the 12 car, if that's just another driver at Penske already, or if it's someone on the outside. Is there any hints you can give to that?
So, over the off season, we will probably be doing a total swap, swapping people's numbers in house, and we're hoping to bring in somebody that is currently with another team and bring them into Penske as well. My goal is to re-sign everybody that's currently with the team and keep them through next season at least. Uh, just because I think we have really good chemistry and we really can accomplish a lot with this current team.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I think that the team definitely has a lot of potential, as well as some other teams in the Cup Series. I won't count them out either. Um, so looking into the future for the league, what is your focus for the league? I mean, is in terms of improving the racing, improving how you're covering the races, whether that's like broadcasting or all that other good stuff. Is it just the league in general that you're focusing on improving? How are you looking at improving all of that come next season, 2 seasons down the road? What's your timeline on that?
Well, I've been in talks with somebody about starting a broadcast booth eventually. That would obviously make the experience for everybody a lot better, change the way people view the race, and things like that. In terms of the actual on track product, as some of you guys saw last night, I'm not going to say exactly what happened. There might be some things in the works. I'm not going to comment on that, but um, there is a lot in in the works for the future of ROCAR, the league itself, new tracks, things like that. Uh, that will probably be announced at a later date.
Yeah, and I want to apologize again for stirring up whatever happened last night. I won't address any of it now, but because I'm going to stick to my word, but fully apologizing for that last night.
It's fine.
Um, is there any hints you can give us as to any new tracks potentially in the future, whether that's like tracks that are already in the game that are just not on the schedule, or tracks that like we've never seen before, or because we have the Martinstown road course and we have Martinstown itself, and that's
Yeah.
obviously a thing. So, is there any kind of like fantasy tracks that you're looking into adding or adding on to? Um, and is there,
Well, um,
anything you can hint?
yeah. Um, so I did Martinstown kind of like a joke. Me and Icy were just talking, and uh, we were playing Martinsville one day, and I just said it should be Martinstown or something like that. And so it turned into this joke, and I just turned it into a giant track. And everybody loved it. It's probably produced some of the best racing in the Cup Series, in my opinion. So I would definitely be interested in creating some more fantasy tracks like that. One I was thinking of is like maybe a short track inside of an NFL stadium. That would be really cool. Something like that. New Hampshire's one that I think might produce good racing. I don't know. People are kind of mixed about it in real life, but I think it could produce good racing in ROCAR. So those are just some ideas that I've had.
Yeah, I think definitely should be interesting to see what you guys come up with behind the scenes. Um, so going back to kind of like what I talked about earlier, with your focus for the league in the future, um, I want to bring focus to now Team Penske. What is your focus for that team, not only for this season, but whether that's going into next season or just the future in general? Um, whether that may be like driver development or wins, championships, team improvements, etc. What's your kind of thoughts on that and focus for that?
Yeah, I don't want to like set the bar too high, but I would definitely like to see every member of Team Penske right now get a win and make a deep run into the playoffs. Ideally, I know we can't like all of Team Penske can't make the championship four because we have more than four people, but um, making a deep playoff run, everybody getting a win, a championship would be nice, but I'm not gonna set my expectations that high right off the bat.
Right. And I think that it'll definitely be interesting to see how things unfold throughout the season. Um, like I said, we're only 3 races in, so it's still pretty early, and a lot can happen. But I'm sure you want the best for um, the team, and the best results possible. So, given the time now, I'm going to open the floor to fan questions. So, I don't know if anybody in the crowd or if anybody that's watching on the stream would like to ask a question. I don't currently have the stream up, so I'll pull that up just so I can ask the questions. Um, 1 second. All right, so I have the stream open. If anybody wants to ask fan questions in the crowd or um, on the stream, please feel free to do so. I know there's a couple of people watching on the stream, and um, if you have a question in the crowd, I guess just stand up or say something so we know. If not, I will ask. I think I have like one or two more questions, and then that's it. But I don't want to hold everyone up too long because we have to get to practice and stuff. Okay, so Land put in the chat, he said, are there any certain NFL stadiums for short track you are considering?
Um, I mean, no, I don't really have any off the top of my head. But since Land is asking, I know he probably wants me to do it at the Superdome. So
Yep.
we could maybe make that happen.
And Storm said in the chat, are there any hints on who will be filling that Penske spot? And I did kind of hint at it earlier or I could ask if you could hint at us earlier and I have a feeling we're going to get the same response, but yeah, are
Well,
there any
all I'll say is that they are a current Cup driver and they drive for another team. If I announce the what team they drive for, it's gonna make it too obvious. So
and is there any current timetable, I guess, that you're planning to announce when the driver is coming on, or is it still unknown?
I'll probably announce it this weekend.
Ah, okay. So pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Um, I don't know if Train has a question. He's just sitting in the crowd. Um, let's see. I have a feeling. I um. Oh, so Roman just put in the chat. He said, "Why is the 33 in your name on Discord and on Roblox?"
So whenever I was growing up, I played like Little League football, and my brother's number was always 33. So that was my number, and I made this Roblox account when I was like 9 years old. So it was just laner33.
Wow, very nice. Um, and like this is the first time we're all hearing your voice, so I'm sure it's definitely something new for you because I didn't expect to hear your voice the way it came out, honestly. So, like, how does it feel to finally have your voice reveal out there and, people know what you sound like now?
I mean, it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, I talk in other servers and things like that. It's just I never really had the need to do it here, honestly, or the opportunity, I guess. So, like we don't really voice chat that often in ROCAR, so it's nice, I guess, though.
And yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I had a question similar to that about talking in ROCAR. Obviously there was some a little suggestion made out by me, obviously a few weeks ago, um, that was suggesting that we could have a VC for whenever there was races going on in the league. What are your thoughts on that? Because, mostly other leagues do that just so it's better for communications between officials and drivers, and you don't really have to rely on the race chat. So if you want to use the VC, it's easier. So, like, what are your thoughts on using a VC potentially in the future for that? Um, and just that overall and that feature.
Yeah, I it's an interesting idea. I've never really raced in many other leagues, but I have seen videos and stuff of them doing that. Um, I mean, I guess if even if drivers didn't want to talk, they could just be in there and listen. So it really would help communicate more clearly when like stage ends are gonna happen or white flag things like that. So yeah, I mean, I would be okay with doing that.
Gotcha. Storm just put in the chat. He said, will we be changing what cars we use?"
Not for the foreseeable future.
And obviously, we've had a little mix up with the cars. Last season, we saw a mix of the cars that we're using now, and we had new cars. It was a lot. So, um, that was also kind of a question that I wrote down, but it wasn't directly addressing that. So, in the last season, how did you kind of go through that, knowing everything that went down with Studnod and all that lawsuit stuff, and how did that shape how the league was going to be for the future? And because obviously we don't use the Cup Series schemes now anymore, it has to be custom made. So how did that change how ROCAR was kind of looked at for the future?
Yeah, when that first happened, it was really a shock because, I mean, BBR was shutting down, lots of leagues were shutting down. It was kind of just craziness all over the row racing community. Um, we didn't really know what to do, but we didn't want to risk anything. So we switched to the tank cars, the block cars for the time being. I mean, we were in the playoffs at the time, so we didn't really have that much left in the season. Um, but after the off season, we had a little bit to think about it, and after researching it more, reverting back was deemed to be all right.
All right. So any last call for questions? I see Mav joined not too long ago, so okay, mostly no from the crowd, I guess. Oh, he has a question. So he's asking if there will not be any more beef between teams. Um,
I don't know, man. I'm just the
I mean,
analyst.
yeah, I think that's kind of hard to tell because it's all what happens on the racetrack and what you make of it, and you can't treat that like a feud. I mean, I guess it's just racing. Um, I think that the Cup Series races every weekend, and they'll have run-ins with other teams, and you don't see them arguing after.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they get paid obviously, but regardless of the payment, they're still not arguing. So it's just a racing deal, and I think people have to get over that part. Um, but thank you for the question. So if there's no other questions, um, I think we are good to wrap up. And yeah, it was really nice getting to interview you. And I'm glad we could do a voice reveal, and glad people could listen in and submit questions. And I'm looking forward to the race tonight, and hoping for the best results for everybody.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and good luck to everybody tonight.
Yeah, don't forget to tune in to anybody listening to the stream, at least. Don't forget to tune in to Martinstown tonight at 8 o'clock on the ROCAR YouTube channel. And yeah, this is CSP from the ROCAR Press signing off.